Hi there, welcome back to Explore the Tarot. I am going to draw a tarot card for the day and we are going to explore its deeper meanings by connecting it with the archetype cards. Okay, so today we have the Six of Coins. The Six of Coins. There's lots of butterflies flying around it. It's quite beautiful actually. Okay. And let's see what archetype we are going to connect with the Six of Coins. The Father. The Father. And the Six of Coins. It's a really beautiful combination. Okay, well let's see what Kim Crowns has to say about the Father, which appears second in this whole deck. The Great Father, the masculine, the protector. Alongside the mother, the father resides in the central axis of the archetypal family. The father embodies both light and dark aspects of the masculine. Thus he is infinitely dynamic and complex. His energy is strong and regal, embodying such virtues as honesty, wisdom and loyalty. Yet ironically and simultaneously, the father is often absent, literally or emotionally. Through absence or action, the father eventually reveals that he is neither a king nor a god, but a human being with many flaws and wounds. He is both the guardian and one who leaves us to the wolves. Here, yet gone. The champion and the failure. The father can never resolve or escape this duality. It is inherent in the archetype itself. Witnessing the father's limitations allows the child to grow beyond the family and into the world. Become a student of this masculine energy. Watch the father in movies, in Shakespeare plays. See the father as a pattern, not as personal. Supportive, strategic, regal, kind, authority. But when dark, disappearing, disappointing, devastated by failures. Wow, that's a description of the father archetype that I hadn't really expected. The kind of sense of duality going on there. Let's talk about these two cards together, because there is something that really strings them together. That seems very clear to me, and that is all around the topic of power and power exchange. The Six of Coins traditionally is all about, so the traditional image is of a man giving out coins to two beggars who are kneeling at his feet. And you know, I think this meaning still holds here, but it has a slightly more lighter aspect to it. With the butterflies, there's a feeling here of giving, of soul exchange, the butterfly being a symbol of transformation in the soul. And so this idea of releasing power as being a soul transforming moment for you, and for the people that receive from you. But it's still nonetheless an exchange of power, an exchange of energy. And I suppose with the father archetype, what really strikes me is that this archetype is all about an authority figure. It's about somebody who holds power within that family dynamic. You know, often as children we look up to our fathers as powerful, kind of all-knowing masculine energies. You know, they're the first masculine energy that we come across in life. And so we do sort of hold them up to this kind of godlike status, regardless of what their flaws are. As children, we don't necessarily see that, or we at least try to reframe any shortcomings that we see in a way that still allows for that acceptance of that authority figure within our lives, because we want to be able to integrate the masculine into ourselves. What I find so interesting about this archetype, though, is it's talking about how as we grow, we feel into this archetype more, and it kind of expands and becomes more complex as we grow, as does the act of giving. You know, a very basic idea of what it means to give is to literally take money out of your pocket and give it to somebody more in need. And you know, often in our world that means somebody who's materially less well off than you are, right? It's this idea of charity giving. It's a very simplified version of what it means to be truly in exchange, what it means to be generous, what it means to be in this position of power. And it's quite a patronizing understanding of the act of giving, and that's a kind of very basic, low-level understanding of what it means to be within this power. But as we grow, as we change, as we learn, as we get more and more complex, our idea of this energy becomes more complex too, and we start to see that you know, the act of giving can often tell us so much about ourselves, who we are, where we feel we're lacking, what kind of voids we're trying to fill within our own lives, where we see our own shortcomings and therefore project that onto the world and try to give in order to receive some feeling of goodness in us, to fill this kind of this absence that's there. And understanding the father archetype in that way, I think, is really transformative as well. It's understanding that you know, we're all flawed, and we all fall from grace a little bit. You know, this combination does really talk about falling from grace, but that being an inevitable part of this ride that we call life. And turning our eyes back in upon ourselves as authority figures, and starting to see where our outward actions towards other people reflect what we really think about ourselves. I really liked the point Kim Kranz was making about the fact that not to take this energy and this archetype personally, that it's actually a necessary component of this archetype, and it's a kind of, you know, there's a kind of failing inherent within the father. And that is also true for any time we take up a position of power or authority in the world. Any time that we try to pursue that, it's actually also reflecting some form of absence or failure or voidness within ourselves. And that's just an inherent part of climbing up that ladder, of wanting to be in a position above other people. And it's a really good opportunity for us to explore why we might desire that within ourselves. Why are we giving? What kind of exchange are we expecting from that? You know,